Hello, how are you?
So we wrote a letter to
All the meeting to order. We have a quorum. We will open with the Pledge of Allegiance. Dave, would you lead us, please?
Yes. Please, everybody join in. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I will ask everyone to silence their electronic devices. And I will tell you that I have a mouthful of Novocaine right now because I just came from the dentist office. So I'm a little slurry, but bear with me. Did all board members receive the minutes? I move that we approve the minutes as written.
Can I make a correction, a suggestion?
After it's second, then we'll have a discussion.
I second it.
All right, it's open for discussion, modification,
I
or
think under
change.
ACC program and CPM transition, on the last line, it says the board is considering reviewing, updating the manual. That's not, I don't think you meant board, it's the I reported that the committee is considering reviewing the manual and bringing it up to date, not the board. I wouldn't want the board to have to do that until the committee looks at it first. That makes sense?
Is everybody good with that?
And then below that, it says John Wiley encourages members to register accounts at CPM and mentions CPM review of the books. I don't think that has anything to do with ACC committee or programming CPM transmission. And the next line says the board needs to review insurance coverage on how now that they no longer have employees. I doubt that has anything to do with ACC. Maybe CPM, I don't know. Did you just combine those two things? They're two separate things, I think.
Well, that was the summary. That was the summary thing that AI does.
Yeah, I don't like those, so. And this is exactly why, because it says one thing and that's not all what I reported. And I don't think that ACC and CPM are the same thing. They're two separate things.
So, split those
So I would
out.
correct that, and I would also put committee instead of board.
Committee instead of board. Any other changes, modifications? Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Recording in progress.
Motion carries. We need to elect an additional board member to fill the vacant chair that I addressed last meeting. It will be a written ballot. We had four resumes. It's a little smooth here. 4 resumes, 1 individual rescinded the resume. So we have 3 individuals that will be voted on. And those individuals are David Bowden, Jerry Jean Hicks, and Desiree Rodriguez. When you fill these out, we will
Oh,
send
can I
them.
have one back?
You got an extra.
Excuse me.
for Dash. Once you fill out, once you make your choice, we'll pass them back to Mary Lou. Mary Lou will count the votes and then we'll announce the winner.
So there's just three, right?
I'm sorry?
Just three.
It's just three. Yes. There were 4 resumes turned in, but one individual rescinded the request. Should have a no, you're counting the 10 in one.
Did count.
Not counting who voted for it.
I've got 3 here. How many you got figured out?
Oh, David, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yes. David, you're here?
I am.
Would you come join us, please?
Sure.
Congratulations.
Welcome to the board. You may regret this at some point in your life. Financial summary and approve. I'm sorry.
Number 3 says motion, meeting motions. We have an off-cycle motion. Do you want to?
Sorry, we'll go ahead and do
There
that.
was an off-cycle motion, and that was November 7th. There was a motion that the retaining wall placement at 9793 East Vista.
It actually goes on with business. That's the approval of those motions of last meeting.
I thought that's where we added it. No? Okay.
I don't hear.
I'll wait till.
You can add it in pretty much where you
Are
want,
we going to
but
approve these then?
We'll just do it.
No, no, we do now.
We did that, right?
We approved them. Okay, do we approve the motions?
yeah,
Yep.
Okay.
we did prove in the minutes for what you made modifications.
Minutes, I didn't know we were talking about the motions, too. That's fine.
Okay. Any other discussion? Financial summary and approval of financial summary.
CPM has successfully transferred the old information from city and village. So we have a September financial report and we have an October financial report. I'll give these, I just printed these off at home. I'll give them to Haley at some point so she can post them, you know, like on the bulletin board or whatever. Just to sum up, I think it's kind of an interesting format, you know, pretty straightforward. I might do a little bit of rounding here, but they list out operating cash. So at the end of October 31st, operating cash, about 1.2 million. Reserve cash, a little over 400,000. Accounts receivable, 345,000, and they have current assets listed. So the total assets are a little over $2.2 million. And John and I have kind of agreed that I think in January, so that the whole quarter will be done, I was going to present like an Excel file with the trend lines. So from last year to this year, what's the change? you could potentially see, you know, like going down this, at this rate over that quarter, and then going down steeper or not going down as steep, or the two lines between 23 and 24 would be kind of informative to see. So we're gonna get the figures out of QuickBooks for October, November, and December. We'll present that in January. And then I also contacted Tara from CPM. She will be in attendance at next board meeting. So CPM will be here in person, and she'll be ready to answer some questions. So I guess that's kind of good news. That's about all I've got.
I will add one thing. In the public forum that follows, and people can ask questions, it's really beneficial to us as a board if you ask those questions first before we have the board meeting. And we're going to try to make sure that we get the website set up so you can send questions into that. You can also email questions in. But I had a question on the reserve fund and how much was put in that this year. It was $18,798.53. I do not have exactly where it will be. That will come out in the November financial statement from CPM. The lake dredging was $17,769.28. So those two amounts have been put into those special funds, and it will be recorded by CPM in the November financial. Whether it's in its own separate place in the bank, I can't tell you yet.
It will be.
And it will be. Okay, it will be in a separate place. I just don't know where that is right now. Any additions to the financial report? I move that we approve the summary as given, and it will be posted shortly.
I second.
Discussion, comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. ACC report, and we also need to vote on a variance issue.
Okay, so we met on November the 5th. Mary Lou joined the committee and was, I guess she's appointed the co-chair, right? And we went through, and of course we transitioned, or we converted from the old system, paper system, to the new CPM system. We made the decision to continue all current projects that are on paper in the old system. We're going to just continue them to finish them out. We are working methodically through that spreadsheet. Some of those projects are a couple of years old, and I think they need attention, and we'll clear that up. We've had 6 new projects submitted through CPM. We've made several approvals already. We do have one off-cycle approval, motion approval by the board, but that we bring that up in old business. We have 2 new board decisions. These are for approvals of variances. One is at 10523 Acorn, and it's to approve a covered porch that is approximately 4 feet over the rear setback line. It's 3.5 by about 4.5, by 12 feet long, so about 48 square feet. It is, I think I put it out as a motion on email. You approved it, or you gave it a second.
Yes.
But I haven't seen any other votes, so it's all in CPM. If you go to CPM and you go to your board actions and touch ARC, you can see the schematics, everything's in there. I don't know if you need more information, and that it's pending Jefferson County approval.
Well, I was going to open it up for questions now from the board.
Okay.
I looked at the material that's in CPM,
Yeah.
and I'm fine with it. So,
Okay.
any other questions?
I'll read the motion. What?
It falls
I
within
didn't
the
have
county.
problems with it.
It falls within the county lines, right? The county guidelines.
Well, they'll need a variance from the county as well.
He'd received
So,
it.
Oh, you
So
have?
what we,
Okay,
Now we give them okay last
We're
week.
good. Yeah.
I was not aware of that.
I'm good with it.
We're good.
that would be my only contingency.
Motion to approve the requested variance for the approved new residence at 10523 Acorn to include a covered porch extending approximately 4 feet beyond the rear setback line for a total area of 4 by 12 feet pending Jefferson County approval. Jim seconded on electronically and I need some yeses.
Any further discussion on that particular one? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
One member did bring up a request, a concern that doesn't affect the sight line. I looked and we have no guidelines for sight line of sight in our manual or in our covenants. It's been common courtesy all along, and so I don't know, you know, we can ask the inspectors, or I don't know if we should put that on the building, the person building, the lot owner, to say, ask their neighbors or what, but I mean, we're approving things and then somebody comes back later and says, hey, I can't see the lake anymore, which happened next door to me. I mean, I don't know how I don't know if we need to come up with parameters or if we just say,
I'm not sure how you would be able to define that for everybody. Line of sight is very individual type
Exactly.
phenomenon. So I think we'll just have to deal with that on a case-by-case basis. Now, if we get plans for a house that's 3 stories high in front of somebody in a ranch that's overlooking the lake, then that would be an issue. And we would have to address that on a time-by-time basis. I think would be the best.
okay, how do you want the committee to approach it though? Because I mean, we see papers and we see drawings and we see plot surveys, et cetera, but how do you want us to?
I would try, if you can, to visit the area where the construction will be and get your own personal opinion on it.
Okay.
Well,
I don't want to be held responsible for it. Well, I
I'm
think
not asking you to
Okay.
make a decision, I'm just saying, do you think this is going to be an issue? And
Okay,
we'll deal with the issues that come up.
okay.
Because I'm not sure there's any way that we can legislate.
That's my point. I don't know if there's any
Yeah.
way we can say, you can't build this house unless you,
And make a V in the middle of it. I mean, there's so many options that could come into play.
okay?
Are there any houses around this house?
There's
There's
one.
one on the right.
There's one on one side. Okay, the other, this was at 9398 West Vista. This is for there's 2 variances being requested. One is for, actually, it's not a variance, it's to reapprove or extend the approval of a retaining wall that was approved in May 26th of '22, but it never got built, and now it has to be built so that they can build a structure. And so we're just asking for an extension on that. Do you want to do that separately or with the
I
other?
would go ahead and do that separately and we'll get that one.
Then I would move that we extend the approval for the previously approved retaining wall at 9398 East Vista, which was approved on May 26, 22.
I'll
For
second that.
For 1 year.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Any discussion on that? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. For that same address, they're requesting a variance for us to build a new structure, a detached garage that's 900 square feet long, or square feet total. There's one portion of the structure, the corner, that will extend less than 10 feet past the rear setback line. So triangular, assuming that's a square triangle, hypotenuse 10 feet, to be 50, it'd be less than 100 square feet that would be going past the rear setback line. That would also require Jefferson County approval. But I would make the motion that we approve it pending Jefferson County approval.
Is this back to the lake or is it back to, what is it back to? What are they getting close to?
I mean, the rear setback line is, 30, 20 or 30?
30.
It's 30 feet, so this would extend about less than 10 feet into that 30 feet,
Okay, so
to the
they-
back of their yard.
But they back another lot?
Yes.
in that direction? Okay.
Yes.
What's the address of that again?
9398 East Vista. It's in, again, if you look at ARC, if you go to your board actions in CPM and you look at ARC, the schematic is in the plot.
I'll second that one also. Pending county approval.
Yeah.
So, people ask me, people come to the meetings with drawings and asking for approval. If it's gonna be a variance, should we tell them to go to the county first, or should we approve them here first? And what are we gonna do if they're incongruent?
All right,
I'm not sure.
this is a personal opinion, we'll have to talk more about this with and I think you ought to bring it to the committee and see what all the members of the committee feel. But personally, I think if you have Jefferson County's approval for building a structure, that should take precedence unless there is some specific thing in our covenants that indicate that it should have a variance.
So if someone wants to build a home that's gonna be outside of, that requires a variance, they should go to Jefferson
They
County?
should go to Jefferson
First?
County first,
Okay.
get their approval, and then we have something to work with. Because I wouldn't approve anything without Jefferson County's approval. And I think it just makes sense not to do that.
Okay.
Because ultimately, they're going to be the ones that are held accountable for it. And have the ability to come in and really create havoc for the individual if they did something outside of the.
With the exception if it doesn't meet one of our parameters. If
One of our
Jefferson County says,
parameters-
yeah, you can do that, and we say, no, that doesn't meet our
And then we
guidelines.
would have to look at a variance or whatever in that situation.
Okay.
I don't imagine that happens very often, and I'd rather deal with the individual situations as opposed to trying to.
I think that, you're right, I think that's likely. And then the only other thing, I guess, I don't know whether to bring this up now or an old business, but I'd asked a month ago about 2 separate lot owners, both owning boats and registering them on the lot. And you said you thought so, but you wanted to discuss it, and you get back to me. I don't know where we landed on that, or did we land on that?
I have not found that in the rule where it talked about that both names have to be on both boats if both names are on the title or the deed.
No.
I do remember that at one point, but I don't know if it was passed.
I haven't
just remember
seen
they
it.
brought it up.
I haven't seen that. I mean, I don't see why, if you wanted to put a boat in your name and your wife wanted to put a boat in her name,
Correct.
but you're related, what if you're unrelated? What if you live together and you both have a boat in your name and insurance? I don't see why we wouldn't approve it, but I just
Can
want to
both
make sure
people on the deed for the house?
both people are on the
I
deed.
say we're in the Get Along Club, let's do it.
Well, then I think that you can both have a boat.
Yeah.
Like you say, a husband and wife can both have a boat.
Yeah, we're in the Get Along
You
Club.
just can't have more than 2 boats total.
Right.
Okay, so can we
It's a
move
go.
forward?
Let's go.
Okay, thank you. Please add that to the minutes. Please add that
Can do what?
to the
Add to the minutes.
I will.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Roads report.
Tree down on East Vista, somebody just sent me a text.
Okay.
That's what it was.
A little windy.
He's doing roads.
I gotta brag on Scott Clark a little bit here, because Scott has done a ton of the backbone work on this, and I mean a ton. Lots of bids coming up for next year. But back to what's actually happening now. A lot of people probably already realize this, Spring Lake Dam Road was paved and sealed. Elm Drive was done. Whippoorwill Drive is being worked on as we speak. Forest Drive should be worked on this week, starting tomorrow or Wednesday. Sunrise Trail is going to be Wednesday, Thursday. And Duffer Road, which is going to be an access, we're going to have to, I've got Tara working on a message going out for Duffer, because that is going to have to redirect everybody to go around to the second to come down Bentry and enter Duffer. There is a collapsed culvert that probably a lot of people don't realize collapsed. The road has been filled in since it was collapsed. but it is a complete collapse and it's a 4-footer. So that'll be done, I believe, Thursday, Friday.
Where's that at?
Duffer.
Oh,
So
Duffer.
as you turn down Duffer from the back gate, like you're going to the north side, I think, of the back lake, it's as you are coming to the lower turn that swings left down by Mike and Kathy's old house. It's
Oh,
right
okay.
before that. There's paint across the road, utilities are marked. And that is, that culvert's collapsed, so a lot of that water has been running that ditch down that could cut across, go further down and cut back across and go into the lake at the bottom. But that's good news. I was hoping that he would get in before the weather turned with the asphalt, and he has. So we want to thank Jim Altoff for doing this, and hopefully that'll be a wrap for probably this year on the roads, and hopefully we can get some more stuff done next spring into next year, pending bids, which again, Scott has done a ton of this work on these bids and stuff, so I want to thank Scott for that.
Scott, was the road blocked, was the tree blocking the road?
Yeah, that's it. Well, he didn't say it was totally blocky. At 9436 East Vista, completely blocking the road. I guess we'll go do what you have to.
Go get some.
Cutting down a tree tonight after.
Yeah, we'll cut a tree down. Any volunteers want to go with us?
Dave, what was the name of the guy that's doing the work?
Altoff Construction, he is a resident here.
Altoff?
Yes,
ALTOFF?
yes.
Okay. Thank you.
ALTHOFF.
We had one volunteer there.
Okay, well, I got a chance, I'm gonna change clothes and I'll get myself.
Yeah.
We won't cut it up, we'll just get it out of the road so the fire truck can get by.
Yeah. And if it's totally blocked, maybe we could, I don't want to lose you, but we'll have to get, we're working on getting some better communication with maintenance. I'll just leave it at that right now. Lakes and beaches, dam inspection reports.
So this week we had our 2-year annual DNR report. They came out and they started on the Autumn Lake Dam. Everything there was pretty good. Underneath the spillway, we've got a little spot that's got a 3-foot gap in it. It's the same, it's been for the last 7 inspections. And they said maybe we could put some loose gravel. They didn't recommend concrete. They said pack it with gravel so the water can flow, but we don't have any seepage. And they said, if you look at the dam when it gets, or the spillway when it gets dry, it's got a little sag in it. And that's from that, but everything's 100% good. And over on Spring Lake, we have some issue with trees on the spillway just a little bit. We need to go and trim. It has been a couple of years since it's been trimmed. And maybe we'll have a Lakes and Beaches volunteer clean it up one day. We can get a few people together before spring. She wouldn't write it up, but she said, hey, if you take care of it, we'll do it. And I promised her we would. And then everything on that lake was good. And well, one more thing, on the spillway itself, there's some spots where there's a little mud starting to come through. And we're in the spring, we need, when it gets dry, we need to go back and put some sealer on that. She said, scuff it up and put sealer, but at the bottom you leave a hole where the weep water would come out. And that was one of the things. And then while she was here, we asked her, one of the residents asked her, we went back and looked at winter summer dams, which they do not regulate. And we're gonna have to eventually get an engineer, or maybe get a class project from an engineering class to come up and look at it and tell us exactly what we need to do. It's not in no imminent danger, but we're gonna need to put some more shot rock in there. It's on the radar. We're gonna have to spend a little bit of money there at some point. But other than that, for lakes and beaches for right now, that's where we're at.
We're getting a little erosion around the middle part, right?
Yeah, the middle part on both ends of it, we're getting some erosion.
Between the two smaller lakes.
Between the two, or the spillway on the, most, I guess people don't know, that's the ones that complained are here.
Well, and that was the lake that we had severe issues with when we had huge.
We had 9 inches of rain too. We had 4 inches of rain, and it's an unusual amount of rain that we had. So given that, everything was bad. So as far as lakes and beaches that we're going to do, but we're going to have a meeting next month, and I think we're going to have it at Spring Lake at the Spillway. So if anybody wants to come, I'll do all the cutting, and we can do some dragging, and we got a spot to put it.
What day?
On a Saturday. We're always going to do the lakes and beaches on a Saturday, so people that work can come and can help and whatnot.
There's about 10 or 15 foot of brush that over the years, the mowing has kind of come back in. We just got to push it back out. Other than that, she was very happy. The dams are actually in really good shape. But there's, a few little issues that Scott talked about, but overall, there was no issues as far as any write-ups or anything like that.
I would just like to mention that if you were on a committee previously and you would like to stay on that committee, we would certainly love to have you on that committee. So don't think that the board changing changes the membership to your committees. Just if you have somebody different to get in touch with. Security report. We had an issue. Well, we've had a couple of
Several.
issues. There was an altercation in the back parking lot that Jefferson County deputies were called in. They resolved the issue. When Scott and I first heard about it, we rushed up here because we thought it involved Haley. It did not involve Haley. It was a man and, well, almost a man and a woman.
Young adults.
Yeah. Having an altercation in the back. The individual was aggressive towards the police officer. It was resolved by Jefferson County and no further action will be taken as far as we know. There was another major incident that we believe, and this is just our belief, we don't have any real data yet, that these individuals may have been involved in some burglary attempts inside of Raintree. They are living in Raintree. Young individual came from the outpost at rapid rate of speed and tore through the front gate. Some residents saw that and videotaped him. The sheriff's department was called, sheriff came out, he was DWI and was removed and kept in jail for 3 days.
3 hours.
3 hours.
And towed his car.
And they towed his car. We have filed criminal charges against him, not wanting just the monetary, and indicated that the entire tower that holds the gates was probably damaged during this event. And you have to have a certain amount of money to hold them for something other than just monetary replacement. So that is being pursued. It's going to the Attorney General and they will come back at us and let us know what we need to do to further that in. I would also like to make a motion, and this relates back to some work that the previous board did, and we believe is a good asset for us to have. I move that we invest in flock cameras. They're about $2,500 for
One's all we need.
one unit, and that will track the vehicles that come in and out of our community, and will also identify and alert the deputy sheriff or the sheriff's department if that vehicle has been involved in altercations or stolen
Wanted person.
or there's a warrant against the person that has it.
What is it called?
Lifetime. Flock.
Flock?
Yes.
Flock, S-L-O-T.
And I know the previous board looked at that and we're contemplating putting it in, but I think it's a good idea for our community so we have a better understanding of who comes and goes.
Now, will that be at each gate or just the front gate?
Just one camera. We'll vote on it and explain it after we
Okay.
decide to. Okay, John seconded. Any additional discussion in the board?
Just one point, I'm pretty sure it's a 2-year commitment.
Yes.
That's it. It is.
5,000 commitment.
2,500 each year. Good investment. It notifies the highway patrol and the county immediately. And it sends the closest deputy an email, supposedly.
So it would just add to a layer of information that will give us something to go back with when we have problems. If it's somebody that lives here and they don't come and go, then we don't have much to go on except if observant neighbor notices something going on. If it's somebody coming in from the outside, then we can track them better. Any additional comments, discussion from the board?
I think we looked at a lot of different systems, and I don't think there's one system that's going to provide us everything that we'd like. But I do think the flock system was well received, but it wasn't determined to be the total program, and I don't think the total program exists. So I think it's a great start.
I think that the total program would be if we all incarcerate ourselves, never leave, have, bars on every window and door. Personally, I like my ability to come and go more than absolute security. I just don't have, absolute security does not exist. You can't get it with gates. You can't get it with any of the systems that are available. There's still ways around that. Short of eliminating a third of the population, we're not going to have it. So, any further discussion other than my ranting? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. We will give further information as we develop the relationship with Flock.
Can I say one thing?
No,
No?
go ahead.
No. It'll be on a fiberglass pole, and it's gonna be up by the front gate, and it's gonna get every car coming in, and there's a possibility of it getting when they leave too. But coming in's the main part, so the county police know that we've got a wanted car or stolen car in the neighborhood. Just like I said, extra security. So.
Where's it gonna be?
It's gonna be the front gate up here where it's gonna come in. They're gonna position it. They've already been out for a site survey.
Good.
They take care of it, and it's all owned by them.
Okay. That's more than one. I'm just joking. Communications report.
I don't have anything except that we're going to discuss the holiday, Christmas, when the office will be closed, so we can get a notice out to, so if they want holiday codes, starting December 1st.
Okay. So if you need codes for visitors, make sure you get it in. Earlier the better.
Even for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and Thanksgiving also.
Thanksgiving has to be in by Tuesday, by the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. And I'll get a notice
No,
out.
not clear.
So Christmas starts December 1st, or they have to be in prior
No.
to December 1st?
They'll be available starting December 1st.
Okay.
All right, let's move along. Maintenance report.
Well, we've got one out helping us out or doing everything. And I've set up the bills and the paperwork, and I can't say much. I mean, we got a road or tree we're gonna go do. And we're having me calling the maintenance at $65 an hour for Matt to blow leaves or do anything. And right now, we're sort of holding back to see the winter because it could be very expensive if we have to plow snow. So we're just trying to sitting on our fingers idling. If anybody wonders why it's not getting done, or nothing's, leaves aren't being blowed because it's very expensive. We had a copy of the bill over there, so pick it up, and take a look at it, and you'll see why we're not doing nothing.
Well,
Or not doing nothing.
we do, I've replaced gates.
I have.
Scott has
We're
replaced
not
gates.
paying to do stuff.
Yeah, we're not paying to do stuff. We're trying to take as much as we can on our own. And the gates are a pain in the butt to try to put back on, but we will continue to do that. We will continue to go out and address issues that we know about. The incident reports come in, we try to respond to those as quickly as we can. Scott and I both are retired at this point, so we can go out and do things like that. And we encourage anybody that would like to assist in things like that to help us in those situations. We don't have a planning group together yet. November, December, and January and February are kind of our slow time. I'll try to get that set up in December so we can start looking at having meetings. And one of the things that I will tell you up front is that we're going to have to look at creative ways to try to increase our revenues. We do need quite a bit of road repair, and there are other things that we will need additional monies for. It was obvious in the election that that huge increase was not acceptable to the population. We're going to have to come up with some other ideas on how to do that. I don't have anything to tell you yet on that, but we'll work on it. The rules report, right now we have a very good rules book. The board looks at the violations that come in. I've reviewed 2 or 3. They will go to CPM. CPM will initiate the letters and initiate any censure requests. Old business.
I have just a off-cycle variance that was approved by Jefferson County. It's for, I have the address here. I'll have to get it for you. But it's for a 10-foot tall retaining wall to be replaced. They did receive approval by Jefferson County. I sent it as a motion, and John Willett seconded it, and Director 15, Jim, and Mary Lou all approved it. So we got 5 yeses.
So we get 5 yeses, okay.
I don't know if you want to have everybody vote, or if you just want to record it as that. I think it's best that maybe
We'll
going
just-
forward, everyone votes.
Yeah, we'll just go ahead and have everyone vote. It's been moved and second. Any discussion on it? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Any other old business? New business. There's likely to be some new business discussion next month when we get all the information in from CPM. This has been a transition period. It has taken a while for CPM to get all the information they needed. It has taken quite a while for us to try to understand what it is that they do, and I'm still trying to understand everything they do. I think the ACC portion of that is very good. It's electronic, keeps track of things well. We will continue to look into it as we go through it. And if there's no additional new business, I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
I second that.
I asked
Oh, I make the motion to adjourn, I'm sorry.
I second.
all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Meeting is adjourned. Open forum, like I said earlier, it would be very nice if you could put your questions in prior, especially if you want us to respond intelligently to it and give us some time to evaluate your question. Jerry Jean.
On that subject, if it's something that, I mean, how are we going to know what we're going to be discussing at the board meeting? You know what to be able to ask something before the board meeting.
Well, if you ask something before the board meeting and you specifically state on your question that you would like an answer in the board meeting,
Oh, that's how it like it before. It was
then
like
we
that,
would
yeah.
we
So
will
then,
answer it in the board meeting.
okay, so then anything else that's in the board meeting would just be afterwards.
Right.
Okay. A second question. Who is going to be over rules?
We haven't really looked into that yet. like I said, we're in the fall, it's kind of a slow down period for us. We haven't done that yet.
Jim, if I could add one comment. There
Yes.
is already on the website a place where they can, it's right on the homepage, just scroll down, they can submit a question to the board right to the website. It
Okay.
must via email.
Sound, if you didn't hear John, raise your hand. Okay, speak louder, John.
On the website,
Wait a second, and I have my hearing aids in, John, I still didn't hear you.
battery's dead.
Go ahead.
On the website, if you scroll down the homepage, there is board meeting request is the title of it. You can submit a question to the board through there.
I heard you the first time.
Okay, there's a gentleman in the second, third row, I can't tell.
David, good to see you again.
Hey, David.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm David Bowden. My background is IT and technology. My main focus in my career currently is cybersecurity and forensics.
Thank you.
Okay. Lady, I'll get to you in a minute. Lady in the back, or second row.
Me?
Yes.
Are we gonna have, like financials printed out like we've done in the past, do you think?
Yes.
I mean, I thought you were saying something about you're gonna work on it and then you're gonna put it up.
We just need to get it copied and get it up available on the front.
Okay. But we'll have it like every
Yeah.
month of the.
Next meeting, we'll have it available out in the front. It's the trend lines that won't be available until January.
Okay, do we still do that 5% a year for the emergency fund, or I don't know if it was called emergency fund or something like that?
Yes, ma'am,
I talked about it.
I talked about that early on when I said I got a question, and I will, if I can find my piece of paper.
400.
It's at $18,798.53 for the emergency fund for infrastructure. Lake dredging was $17,769.28. That one came out of this year's assessors.
So together, that was the 5%, is that what you're saying, both of those together?
7% in total.
Is 7% in total.
Oh, okay.
Lady in the back, and then
I just have a question.
all the way in the back.
I just have a question. How are we going to be communicated to what's going on, like with committees and things like that? Are we going to use the website, MailChimp like we used before, or just the paper and at the gates?
We are going to try to evaluate I would like to see us use the website as the primary way to communicate.
Okay.
That's the simplest and easiest for most everybody to get information from. We may have to do a little bit of addition to it, but that is my goal, to try to develop it as our primary source of communication.
Does, from what I remember, CPM, like I know we got a mass email one time or a text. Is that something that maybe?
That's another possibility that we're looking at. We have to make sure that it doesn't bring in additional costs.
Oh, does it cost more to do the text messages? Or?
Well,
I thought it was included.
we'll find that out. Like I say, they're just getting situated. You've had your hand up for a while.
Okay, so I have like 6 or 7 questions because you all talked. So.
Well, if you would start with one, let some of the other people go, and then I'll come back to you. Because I'd like to get everybody that has questions.
And I agree with that. The thing is, in the past, sometimes we could ask clarifying questions while it was being discussed so that the answer could be addressed right then.
I'll tell you what, I'll give you 2 minutes, and you can fire through as many questions.
So that's not the way you're going to do this. Okay, thank you. So, I did hear financial reports would be available and up there, but will they also be available at the board meeting so that we can grab them when you talk about them at the board meeting?
They will be in the future.
Thank you.
How many copies should we make?
The office makes them.
I know, but should we have
25.
or make 20?
We made 25.
25 in the past?
Lakes and
Okay.
beaches meetings.
Yes,
Scott, you said Saturdays, so are you picking a?
We're gonna pick a Saturday. I'm gonna start to look for weather. We only need to give a week's notice, and it's gonna be sometime before Christmas.
It would be great.
What
if
would
you
be
have-
best for you guys? Get a tripod for your camera so when you guys come, we can all work?
It would be great if you picked the same Saturday, that way we
Okay.
can all schedule.
Well, we
it
will
for
when we
ourselves.
start getting in a
Thanks.
regular process, but not right away. We're just getting together.
Thank you. You had mentioned ACC projects, a couple of them are a couple of years old, they're taking a couple of years. Out of curiosity, what projects take that long?
Like somebody built a new house and they haven't finished one part of it or something.
Was it a variance of a porch, and, you know, what if someone complains, eyesight, line of sight? A thought would be, has anyone ever, like, told the owner that had the project, hey, have you guys told your neighbors that you're doing this, so that that's the time when someone?
That's happened from time to time. I can't say it's happened every time.
One more.
Okay, cool. I don't know if this is what you referenced a moment ago, but the Rain Tree Volunteer Network, is that part of your planning of trying to get that resurrected so that when we do have a tree down, when we do have leaves, that was one of the things that was discussed a year ago, that we could volunteer more to keep our costs down with maintenance.
You want to help tonight?
We're doing it tonight. Mike, wanna help us? We're gonna go home and get a chainsaw and we'll eat chips.
John brought that up a lot at the town hall meetings.
Yeah.
So
I've been doing it a whole lot.
Okay, there was a lady right back here, and then I'll get gentleman in the back, and then,
Gotta block you, you gotta make it.
You talking to me?
yes,
Okay.
sorry.
I just want some clarification on the IC fund deposit, which is our emergency fund, and according to covenants can only be used for emergencies in the covenants, voted on by 8 out of 9 board members, approved. So the deposit for that is 5% of the previous year's assessments, collected assessments. Typically, it's been running between $30,000 and $35,000 a year, and that deposit is made in September. So which would make the balance of that fund now somewhere around $320,000. So my question is, was that deposit made in September? How much was it, and what's the balance in that account now?
John, can you,
The answer is yes, it was targeted. CPM is opening up the account for it, but money's sitting in the, not to confuse it, there's an ICS account, which is the amount of money we have over 200,000 in the primary account. It's in there. It'll show up on the November reports, and $34,320.79 was the 2024 transfer to the account, and I believe it had, the CD was $295.
right at that, I believe.
So $295 plus $34,000.
Okay, so is that setting a separate account?
Yep.
Okay. Is it still in the Bank of DeSoto, or is it moved?
It's with
CPM?
CAB Bank.
So did we have to pay a penalty for cashing out that CD?
No. It was,
The CD matured.
Sure.
Okay,
So it was moved in when it
We
matured.
didn't reactivate it.
thank you.
Okay, the gentleman in the back.
Yeah, my question concerns about the spillway on Summer Lake. Did I hear that you guys, well, first of all, I heard something about hiring engineering. Did I hear something about adding more shot rock?
Oh, is it
Well, I don't think that we're ready to do anything with it yet. We need to just look at it and evaluate. During the large rain, the water came over beside the spillway and did a little bit of erosion.
It's been eroded for years.
Well, I know. Every time that it rains hard, we get some kind of problem
The
there.
problem, the spillway, the concrete portion, the problem is not the dam, but it's a concrete spillway. It's only 49 feet wide, about 5 inches high or deep. It's too small. It was from day one, it was built wrong.
Yeah, no,
And that's why, back the 5th of this month, we had flash floods along Forest Drive, and that water comes into Silver Lake, and then it spills over about 200 feet width of the dam, over the earth part of the dam. So the concrete portion is no control. It's not wide enough, it's not deep enough. If you guys add more rock to it, you'd be wasting your time and you'd be wasting your money, because it's already been tried. And first of all, you need to start out with a qualified engineer.
yes.
Well, first of all, I just wanted to second what Linda was talking about, the volunteer network, because I went to the town hall meetings, and I know John talked a lot about developing a volunteer network. I mean, I didn't know if him or somebody on the board was going to maybe start coordinating, because it's needed, because I put up the gate if I see it down, but I don't get any notification anymore, so I don't know, like, we used to have a network, people got a text, hey, go fix the gate. I know I fixed it, if I see it down, I fix it, but trees on the road or something, maybe there was a committee that headed up that network. They could get the volunteers and help us out there with the chainsaws and stuff. Now, my second question is, I'd heard this talked about last summer, and then it came up again just recently regarding schedule of fees charged for closing. Apparently, when you sell a house, and they posted this on Facebook, so it doesn't have anybody's name on it, so it doesn't seem like I'm using anybody. But there's some charges here. It's $395. And they're the itemized charges. The standard trustee letter goes to CPM, and it gets $195. And then there's bylaws. Well, first of all, there's condo carts fee, and they get $20 whether they close or not. Then there's this other fee here. Let me see if I can get it to zoom in. There is a bylaws fee. And I'm trying to, what is a bylaws fee? And that we pay $20 to, I'm sorry, that's $60 for, $20 for the bylaws fees, and then the covenants and the rules and the indentures is $60. I mean, what is that these people are paying for? Rules and regulations, there's another one, $20. What is?
So I'll clarify this, and this is the unknowns of CPM getting slapped in our face right here. So whoever worked on that contract, there's all these little things and fees. So if you go to sell your house and your title company talks to CPM and requests a title report, request a copy of the bylaws, all these fees are getting charged on everything that you just, so anything that you ask CPM starts getting charged to that homeowner from CPM. And there is tons of extra fees that CPM can charge.
And we have no control over it.
And that I understand, and I don't mean no insult to the new board, because I know you didn't have anything to do with it. On the part about the fees, what is co-certs, or club, what is it called here, I'm sorry.
So there was a condo cert.
Certs, what
Yeah.
is condo certs? And they get that $20 whether they close or not.
On a condo cert, we'll have to ask the title company to clarify it. But I believe that it's a process of going back and certifying the title as you would in selling a house. But I want to ask the title company to clarify it, and I don't want to just make a broad thing. I want it black and white from the title company.
So, all right, well, so basically, I mean, we don't have any control over any of these people. Or the board has no control over any.
Can I clarify some of this? This stuff always had a cost to it. Used to be the office did it, city and village took it in their contract, and they instituted a charge for it. But even when it's done here, there's a cost to that.
How much was it?
Well, you have a building to pay for, insurance to pay for, a portion of all.
But the property owner paid, I think it was $40, was that right?
Not to here, no.
Okay.
They picked it up, but all of the owners shared in
But
paying the expense.
this is indeed
Now
an
it goes-
increase, so property management gets a fee
It's
when
a
you
hidden-
request
Now it
the
goes straight to the
covenants,
owner.
request the rules. What about it, because it's online?
That's up to the.
So these people could save money if they just went online?
That's
Is
the
There's a
title.
is that correct?
That's the
There's a
title.
good chance.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
To the, I believe just you two board members are the ones that, think property management is so good, right? So did you guys find out about any of these hidden fees before you just jumped on board?
It was there. It was there with.
Well, then why didn't you
Village
tell any of
before.
us any of that?
Okay,
You-
let's,
Wait a minute, you said at a meeting that you knew all the disclosure about it. Evidently, you did not.
We did. It's in the contract. we
Is that
signed.
hidden
It's
fees in that contract?
Yes, those fees are in the contract. It's posted on the website.
So, I do want to keep everything positive moving forward, and I know that, I do have one good thing positive, that the county is gonna put up 100 more tornado sirens. That had come up on Facebook. Next year, I think they're gonna spend a couple million on it. We'll be getting one, I believe, I'll tell you the next meeting where. I think it may even be as close as the county shed, so at least we're getting closer out here. But 100 new sirens getting spread out in Jefferson County, to my knowledge, that this is passed and going forward. Any other questions before we go take a tree out?
I'm gonna go to the lady in
We'll
the
help you
back
with that.
first.
Okay. I would like to know why it was necessary to post the announcement of the meeting by taping it on the outside of the gate boxes when the POA office has.
We didn't have the key and Haley was not here, so we
Okay,
improvised.
well, and also, just to bring it to your attention, last month's meeting was still inside the box and never been taken out. So if you're gonna use them, you need to take the stuff
Got
out.
people to do it.
Yes,
They were totally cleaned out today, I mean personally.
You said that you want the website to be the main communication?
yes.
Did I interpret that correctly? So, when I think website, I think all of us having to go to the website.
Every single day.
Is there, what kind of communication do you have, like the board agenda and that? What are you looking to utilize in order to come to us? Do you know what I'm saying? Because or do we have to go to the
We
website
will
every day?
probably start using the website to disseminate information also. We're still
Okay.
looking into that, like I said earlier. We don't know what the costs are.
Okay.
No, this is, I had the same question, so I'm sorry, I'm not gonna pick up my computer and go to POA-Braintree.com to see when the next meeting is. It's just so much more nice when you get an email and you guys are proactive coming to us rather than us going to you. I
Don't you
think
have to
that's
pick
what-
up your computer to get an email?
What's that?
I said, don't you have to pick up your computer to get an email?
Yes, but it's in an email. Well, wait, first off, I don't do email, my wife comes to me. But anyway, just one other thing that, so the rules to censors, so CPM is going to be, so if somebody sees something wrong that they think that a censor should be handed out, how is that all, just go through the censor thing for me, because I
Send
don't
it
really.
into the incident report and we'll deal with it from there for now.
So you turn in the incident report up here at the office, or you turn it in on the website?
On the CPM's website.
Okay. And then,
That will generate an email and we will deal with it from there. And then any result of that will go through CPM.
so then you would get an email from CPM, and then you guys would go out, take a look at it, and see if it's valid or not, and then they'd go from there?
Yeah.
Okay. But I'm not gonna get an email. Okay?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I said we haven't made a final
All right,
decision.
okay.
Okay, back to you then, and then around.
Okay, and mine has to do with the communication and the website. And so I'll call it 4 or 5 years ago when we had the Community Relations Committee going and we had town halls and that kind of thing. The most important thing everyone said was lack of communication, lack of communication. And yes, there was a website and it's been improved since then. However, it's exactly what he said. Going to look for information is difficult. How do we know when you're gonna tell us something? We're gonna have to like log in, frequently. So that's when MailChimp came up and everyone then was able to get information. It was, an inexpensive solution then. I don't know if CPM has incorporated that into what we pay them already. I don't know. But the point being, information coming to us is the answer, not us having to go look for information.
Okay, I
Because you
must
have
have
no
been
idea.
speaking Latin when I said we are still looking at other options.
And what
Okay.
I'm trying to say is when you look at other options, please understand that we've been down this road numerous times. And the answer was, please give us more information that comes to us rather than us have to seek it. Please put that in when we discuss this and talk about it, you'll remember that comment. Thank you.
Jerry G.
I had a comment on what Dave Getty was talking about. Aren't those charges that they are charging, isn't that what we would pay the title company? I was told, that's what I was told, that it was
I think you and Dave need to talk. I don't know the answer.
I'm just asking the question.
Well, I know where the money went. It went to.
Went to CPM,
It
it
went
didn't
to
go to the title
CPM,
company.
yeah. But isn't that
Okay,
information?
one last question here.
I just wanted to ask, if you send, report it to the property management company, how long of a time frame do they give you guys to respond? I mean, have they let you know how, 12 hours, 10 hours? I mean, because otherwise people are gonna think you guys are getting it right away, and then they're gonna be crabbing at the board.
I hope we're getting it
So
right away.
what I'm saying is, they have to give you some type of time frame to be answered or acknowledged. Whatever.
It comes very quickly.
It
The
does?
incident reports that I've gotten and responded to have come in quite quick.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I said only one more,
Jim?
but you in the back, gentleman with the hat.
I got a question about 1L lawn service for you. I looked at this bill. Are we paying $65 an hour for people to come out and do regular maintenance? Or I thought we had people that were responsible for doing this under a contract for a certain amount.
That's,
Not after hours stuff.
that's CPM's rate.
No, that was John's rate.
That's John's rate, yeah.
Yeah, but we have a contract that says we're supposed to do certain maintenance for X number of dollars.
And that's the X number of dollars.
Okay. But they itemize this bill for everything that they've done on these days and charge $65 an hour per deal, per hour.
Yeah.
But if you have a contract with a set amount, there's no hourly rate.
No, it's in the contract that it is an hourly.
Hourly.
No.
We pay him for every hour he works.
We don't have a contract that says that the maintenance and rain tree will be done for $2,500 a month.
No.
It's all on an hourly rate.
Yes.
So we paid a guy $65 to go out and open the
The lawn mowing,
It's on there. He's reading it wrong.
landscaping stuff up here around the building, the column, the snow plowing, salting is under a flat rate contract. The other maintenance stuff that we choose to use them for is billed at $65 an hour.
Okay, so the other question I had relevant to this is that when you're talking about they're only maintenance on certain areas, the streets with ditches that are full of leaves, down trees, what happens to that?
That's not gonna get mowed. Talk to him. They sent out a sheet, it's over there, and they gave all the bids what they're gonna mow and what they're not gonna mow.
Well, this
And
isn't mowing.
this is the other board, we had nothing to do. They're not gonna mow nothing down Column.
But you're our board now,
Well, we need
okay?
to change it.
Well, I'm
I didn't put
saying-
us in this position.
My point is,
Okay,
on the
all right.
street,
No, not on the
I'm
outside.
just trying to find out.
Not on the
On the street
outside.
I live on the street I live on, I don't have a ditch. I have 2 yards on each side, I'm over front of them, I take care of it.
Really?
Okay, across the street is a drainage ditch. It's clogged with leaves and downed trees. So the water's coming over the top of the road now, and you get the heavy rains. Who's responsible
Please
for
tell them
that?
that's what you wrote.
A lot of wholesalers who own those properties are responsible for
The
that.
property may be owned by somebody, but there's no houses built on it.
They are still responsible for their property. Otherwise, if, you know, the community and the board wants to pay more money, we can handle all of those people's property, but I don't think everybody wants to
This is the
pay.
first time I've seen this since I've lived here. Before,
It just happened this year, so that's why it's a
It happens
percentage.
every year in the fall.
Yeah, we have to weigh over this year, which way's better, and work on the situations, and who knows? Maybe we'll be 100% with 1L, maybe we'll be 100% back with 3 people running our own maintenance department. We don't know that officially yet at this time.
What about the ones that run into the lake?
Okay, there's a lady in the back.
I'm sorry, I know that you're trying to get this finished. So, I live on Waterford, I live at the spillway, and I have a huge ditch. It's not technically my property, right? Because it's whatever, common. We've taken care of, we've mowed it the whole time. We take care of all of that. Right now, I have a huge amount of debris from that big rain that is swept up into my yard because all of everything from the entire lake has come up, right? It's pushed out the fences. The one time I did message about the actual, all the water coming into my yard from all of Raintree. Yep, you guys came and like redirected it and it changed the path like of my yard. My yard now has a bigger slope because now it comes through my yard instead of around kind of my yard. So I can't imagine that I am in charge of that mess over there because it's not even technically my property.
Yeah, if it's common roads.
Do you know what I'm saying? So there's no way I could, I mean,
What's your address?
10001 Waterford. I'm right on the corner.
You're on the corner?
Yeah.
Put us in this position.
Terry Jean and
I
then other
have
lady beside you.
regarding the not cleaning out the culverts and that, what about the water that runs into the lake? You're gonna end up with debris and leaves in the lake if that stuff's not cleaned up.
I understand, but
We got what we
You're
work
gonna
on.
point to me, I'm gonna point back to you.
Yeah,
We'll set you up with
Scott.
1L to do it if you want it done.
It's, look, they're complaining about the price. It's $520 a day for Matt to do something.
Scott,
Okay. Anything else other than maintenance?
I'm Nancy Gow, and I know most of the people in the room, but I moved here in 2003. In 2002, we purchased our property. I've been active in Raintree since then. And at that time, our lakes were beautiful. We didn't seem to have a problem with all the vegetation growing up. The subdivision didn't have, it had years of runoff coming into the lakes. But in the past 22 years, of course, we've had more and more and more. Thus the grass growing up, thus the vegetation. There wasn't one word said in tonight's meeting about, the only thing that was said about dredging was the money being saved for dredging. But there wasn't anything said about the lake treatments except for what I heard last meeting, when it was said, we aren't planning on treating the lakes this year. Well, you're a new board and supposedly hadn't had any planning meetings or anything since that, prior to that meeting. So I didn't know how we made this decision that they weren't going to treat the lakes, because we are going to lose our lakes if we don't do something, and think it needs to be addressed now, not in May, not in June. We're going to be able, I know my cove and many of the other coves, because of course the coves are going to lose their lake faster. And what where I live, I'm 3 feet, I've got 3 feet of mud underneath, which the grass grows through. The sun reaches the bottom faster because it's 3 feet more shallow.
What winter treatment did they used to do, Nancy?
The last treatment people did the best job that had ever been done. It still wasn't 100%. And then the last board did all, and I forget the name of the process they discussed. And now, I guess that process is going to be shoved aside. That's the way I heard it in the last meeting. And I came tonight thinking they're gonna say something about, and we've looked into the lakes and blah, 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 but the lakes have not been mentioned. And you know, Dave, you know how that grass comes through. I can walk across my water.
Well, I mean,
I can walk to my neighbor
we
across the
have to
cove.
get more knowledge on it. We have to figure out what treatment process has been used, I think, over the last 40 years, what's worked for that.
Grass carp's not gonna do it because we've always put grass carp in. We've always had grass carp in the lake.
Why do we keep doing
Okay,
the same
wait,
thing over and
now
over?
stop.
Use the data that we have
If
already.
you want to say something, wait until you're acknowledged. We're starting to get anarchy here, and I won't tolerate it. Gentleman that raised his hand.
Dave, to your point about treating the lakes, you got the most knowledgeable person on the board that you assigned to ACC. That doesn't take a genius to figure that was not a smart move. So reach into Kent's expertise and get these lakes fixed with Clean Flow or whatever you want to use. It's about $60,000 a month, if I remember correctly. Use that man for his expertise. He's done better than anybody since I've been here for 8 years with lakes and beaches.
Before we hand the floor, and I'm gonna tell you right now, the majority of people on this board have a lot to deal with. They had no idea it was waiting for them when they came in, because the previous board thought they were smarter than everybody else and went ahead and voted for them.
this needs to
Community
stop.
Jack, I got the floor.
We're done. I won't tolerate this.
Used to that. Any volunteers, I'll be 90. We'll see if everybody goes to